The Academy e-learning allowed us to go back and readdress and reevaluate the current standing of those courses and figure out how we could supplement and complement what we already had in place. We didn't want to go back and there was some discussion about whether it was going to be a complete redesign or if it was just going to be an enhancement or augmentation. And through the course of a lot of dialogue and team effort and working with the e-Academy folks, we decided that we would take this opportunity to try and figure out how we could enhance what we already had in place.
The Academy was good for me because, you know, this is my second year here, so I'm relatively new. So a lot of the technology that was presented to us I had been previously unaware of. I didn't know what a Wordle was or really how to use Google Docs correctly, so that was nice that it sort of brought those things to light for us.
If you've ever been to one of the TLP like summer camp workshops, is really similar to that. So it's not really something where you just kind of show up for an afternoon or two, that it really takes several days, and those days are really pretty filled. But they're trying to make it a community so that we're in touch with each other, so other professors are in touch with other professors, the TLP people, computer people, and so on. So I know that that is one of the major focuses for it.
We were interested in two things. One was efficiency, because we wanted to create a cost savings for our departments and the university. And then we were also interested in creating a consistent course where students would receive the same information or similar kinds of information to meet the objectives, because it is a commission required course that goes through accreditation.
I would say it gave us an opportunity to come together and actually have some specific time that we could be working on our course redesign. Of course, a huge focus of it is on helping you think through how you might incorporate technology as you're doing this redesign of your courses.
We had already started planning for a jumbo class, which was a response to the huge bottleneck of students who haven't been able to take English 130 or academic writing. So we are sort of trying to do two things, trying to incorporate the technology and trying to figure out how to work a jumbo class or to implement course design that would somehow alleviate the bottleneck.
Academy e-learning was one of the most phenomenal experiences of the summertime. We got exposed to a ton of different ideas using technology, a lot of ideas about how to make our course work the best. The rubrics were presented to us. It was an opportunity to work with other faculty and other colleges, get some great ideas, and just to really cement in all those thoughts that you have going around in your head, and be able to look at your course and look at all of our options and try and figure out what's going to work out the best. It was a real eye-opener.
I think a couple of main points would be to arrive at e-learning with the end in mind, kind of. So have a more defined and focused goal to what they're doing. And also make sure to really have enough time for everyone carved out of the summer so that you can really devote your full attention to e-learning while they're doing it. I know a lot of us were trying to go a number of different ways over the summer and do e-learning and research and teaching and a whole bunch of stuff, and it ended up being that we were pulled in too many directions. So really having the time to completely devote to the e-learning component, I'd say, would be really important.
Besides having the goals clearly defined, to make sure that the department and the college support those goals and efforts, and also see the future. Make sure that there's a future to the efforts that you're going to be putting in, because if you put it in, if you just develop something and implement it for 1 or 2 semesters, it's an awful lot of energy and an awful lot of resource and capital for something that's not going to have a legacy.
One thing I would say is that it's going to take a lot of time, and just adapt yourself to that. So I went in not really understanding the amount of commitment that was being asked. Don't make that mistake. It's an enormous commitment. It takes a lot of time. And that's really the major thing that I found.
to make sure that the course that you're selecting is ready for the kind of redesign process that is ahead of you. The materials that you have, this course has to have materials that are prepared and ready. And if the content's already prepared and you want to do a WIMBA presentation, for example, if you have a PowerPoint and it's ready, then you can spend time working with that. And communicating regularly with your administrator about what's going on, if the chair or your any of the administrators who are interested in your project want to see what you're doing or want to be a part of what you're doing, include them, let them know when you're meeting, and make sure that you're communicating with other faculty who have an interest. Because I think the more other faculty get to have a voice, who want to have a voice, the more powerful your project can be. If you're an untenured faculty member, if you're still working toward tenure, this can be a project that can be very interesting. It can help you in the process. It can be something you can write about and publish about, because technology is a really important piece of what we do now in higher ed. But I do recommend that you participate with a team member who's tenured, because a tenured faculty member can help you negotiate some of the processes. And I can't overstate that also. That's an important piece for your team selection.
I think the fact that we had a chance to meet ahead of time gave us some things we needed to work, that we knew we wanted to work on while we were there, and I think that was really useful. To find a way to really organize all the information, and part of that is just, I've continued every once in a while to get onto the Vista community that eLearning Academy set up, because the resources are all kind of there and bookmarked. But if saving stuff for yourself that you don't know at the time you might need, if you can find an organized way to keep that in a folder for yourself, and even label those folders by what kinds of problems you think they might solve. I know that's being really proactive, but that was the kind of stuff that now I can go back and find files that I think might be helpful.
It's good to keep in mind, if you not only meet, but if you come into it with some sense of where you might go and the problems that need to be solved. If you come into it thinking we need to have this course redesigned and these are all things that we can use, I think you're going to be overwhelmed. I think if you come into it saying these are some specific problems that need to be addressed and here are some solutions we're considering, which of these ideas that are being offered to us can we use?
The exposure to all these technologies is phenomenal, and it just opens up all these ideas. So I would say do it if you can. Be open-minded. Don't sit there and go, oh, I can't use that, or I don't want to use that. That looks too hard. Be open-minded and really let yourself open to ideas, because sometimes even if you can't use a technology, it's something that leads to another idea. Be realistic about your goals. Work with the staff, because the staff there are going to help you to determine what's real, what's not going to work, what might be better. I really encourage you to be involved.